Marcus Hale woke up every morning at 5:30 not because he loved early mornings but because life had trained him that way. The small alarm clock on his nightstand buzzed softly and before it could ring twice his hand reached out and turned it off. He lay still for a moment listening to the quiet apartment. The refrigerator hummed, a bus passed outside, and somewhere in the next building someone was already arguing over the phone. Marcus smiled faintly. Another day had begun. He swung his legs off the bed, careful not to make the floor creak too loudly. In the next room slept his daughter, Ava, 7 years old, wrapped in a blanket decorated with faded stars. He peeked in, watching her chest rise and fall. That small, steady rhythm was the center of his world. Marcus was 34, tall, broad-shouldered, with hands roughened by years of physical work. He worked as a maintenance supervisor at a mid-sized office complex downtown. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills and offered health insurance, which mattered more than titles. After Ava's mother passed away 5 years ago from an illness that came fast and left slowly, Marcus learned how to be two parents at once. He learned how to braid hair badly but with pride, how to pack lunches shaped like animals, and how to listen carefully when Ava talked about her day as if it were the most important meeting he'd ever attend. Their mornings followed a rhythm. Marcus brewed coffee while Ava brushed her teeth standing on a stool. He made oatmeal with sliced apples and she complained every time, even though she ate it all. "Daddy, one day can we have pancakes on a school day?" she asked, tugging at his shirt. "One day," Marcus said, kneeling to button her jacket, "when pancakes learn how to cook themselves faster." She giggled, and that sound made the early mornings worth it. After walking Ava to school, Marcus took the bus downtown. He liked watching the city wake up, vendors setting up carts, office workers with coffee cups, the same security guard who waved at him every day. Marcus was observant by nature. He noticed small things: a loose tile before it became a problem, a flickering light before it burned out, a person's mood before they spoke. Maybe that came from growing up having to read the room early in life. As a child, Marcus grew up in a rundown neighborhood on the edge of the city. His mother worked 2 jobs, his father absent long before Marcus learned how to spell the word. He remembered cracked sidewalks, summer dust, and afternoons spent fixing things he didn't fully understand yet. He also remembered one afternoon that stayed with him like a quiet echo, though he rarely thought about it directly. Life didn't give him much time to look back. At work, Marcus was respected, not because he talked loudly or demanded attention, but because he showed up. If a pipe burst at midnight, Marcus answered the call. If an elevator stalled, he stayed until everyone was safe. His coworkers trusted him. The office staff greeted him by name. Still, he remained mostly invisible in the larger structure of the company. That was fine with him. He liked staying in the background. In the evenings, after dinner and homework, Marcus and Ava sat on the couch watching old cartoons or reading library books. Money was tight, but laughter was free. Sometimes, when Ava fell asleep with her head on his arm, Marcus stared at the ceiling and wondered if he was doing enough. He didn't dream big anymore. His dreams had become smaller, more focused. Keep Ava safe, keep her happy, keep moving forward. On one ordinary Thursday, Marcus didn't know that his routine was about to bend in a way he never expected. The building where he worked was preparing for a major executive visit. The CEO of the parent company was coming in for a surprise inspection. For Marcus, it meant polished floors, double-checking systems, and staying out of the way. He ironed his uniform that night, packed Ava's lunch, and went to sleep thinking it would be just another long day. He had no idea that a simple ring would open a door to a past promise he thought had faded with time. The day of the visit arrived with tension buzzing through the building. Managers whispered, assistants hurried, and even the air felt sharper. Marcus moved quietly, fixing a loose handle near the conference hall when he heard soft applause echoing down the corridor. The CEO had arrived. He didn't look up at first. It wasn't his place to stare. But then he heard a calm, steady voice speaking with warmth, not authority. Something about that voice made Marcus glance up despite himself. A woman stood surrounded by executives, dressed simply but confidently. She wasn't tall, but she carried herself with ease. Her hair was pulled back neatly, and when she gestured while speaking, the light caught something on her hand. Marcus froze. On her left hand was a ring, not flashy, not oversized. A simple silver band with a small turquoise stone set into it. His chest tightened as if someone had pulled a string inside him. The hallway noise faded. Suddenly, he wasn't 34. He was 8 years old, sitting on a broken brick wall beside a girl with scraped knees and a stubborn smile. The memory hit him hard and without warning. Back then, her name was Lena Brooks. They met at a community soup kitchen where their parents volunteered. Lena's mother worked long hours and still found time to help others. Lena was fearless, always talking about becoming someone important. One afternoon, Lena found a small toy ring in the dirt, the stone cracked but blue. She cleaned it and slipped it on her finger like it was treasure. "When I grow up," she said seriously, "I'll be a boss of a big company." Marcus laughed and said, "Then I'll fix everything in your building." She grinned and held up the ring. "Then you can marry me." Marcus, red-faced and earnest, replied, "I will promise." Life, however, didn't ask children if they were ready to break promises. Lena's family moved away suddenly. Marcus never got to say goodbye. The ring, the promise, the afternoon sun all became part of a memory he tucked away to survive growing up. Now, decades later, that same ring sat on the hand of the CEO standing 10 feet away from him. Marcus's heart raced. His first instinct was disbelief. Rings could look similar, memories could play tricks, but the stone, the faint crack on the side, it was unmistakable. His hands trembled slightly as he tightened the handle he was fixing. He felt ridiculous. What were the odds? And even if it was her, what did that change? She was a successful executive. He was a single dad fixing doors. For the rest of the day, Marcus moved like a man underwater. He avoided the conference hall, kept his head down, and focused on work. His thoughts, however, kept circling back. Questions piled up quietly. Did she remember? Was it even appropriate to say anything? What would he say? "Hey, I once promised to marry you when we were kids." The idea made his stomach knot. That evening at home, Ava noticed his distraction. "Daddy, you didn't laugh at the funny part," she said, pointing at the book. "Sorry, bug," Marcus replied, forcing a smile. "Just tired." But it wasn't tiredness, it was fear mixed with hope, and he didn't know which scared him more. Marcus lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling again. He thought about paths not taken, about how life separates people quietly. He wasn't angry, he just felt small, like a boy watching a train leave without him. The ring had unlocked something tender and unfinished. The problem wasn't the memory, it was what to do with it, and Marcus had no answers. The following days, Marcus tried to return to normal. He told himself that some things were better left untouched. He focused on Ava, on work orders, on fixing what was broken. Still, the image of the ring lingered. It wasn't longing exactly, it was curiosity mixed with a quiet need for closure. One afternoon, Marcus was assigned to check the executive floor. As he walked past glass offices, he saw the CEO again, alone this time, reviewing documents. Her expression was thoughtful, almost tired. Up close, Marcus noticed familiar details: the slight crease near her eyebrow when she concentrated, the way she tapped her pen twice before writing. The nameplate on the door read Alina Brooks, Chief Executive Officer. Alina, not Lena, but names grow up too, he thought. Marcus stopped outside the office, heart pounding. He told himself he'd just knock, introduce himself professionally, and leave it at that. No past, no promises, just courtesy. His hand hovered near the door, then dropped. He wasn't ready. Instead, he talked to his friend Jonah, a security guard who'd known Marcus for years. They sat outside during lunch, sharing sandwiches. "You ever feel like your past taps you on the shoulder?" Marcus asked casually. Jonah raised an eyebrow. "Only when I ignore it for too long." Marcus nodded. That answer stayed with him. That weekend, Marcus took Ava to the market. While she picked apples, he watched families pass by, different lives, different stories intersecting briefly. He realized something simple and grounding: whatever happened, he was proud of the man he'd become, not because of success but because of steadiness. On Monday, fate intervened gently. A water leak occurred near the executive offices. Marcus was called in. As he fixed the pipe, Alina stood nearby, observing. "Thank you for handling this so quickly," she said. "It's my job," Marcus replied, then paused. "You wear a unique ring." She looked surprised, then smiled softly. "It's old, I've had it since I was a kid." Marcus swallowed. "Did you find it?" Her eyes widened slightly. "Yes, in a dirt lot. How did you?" "I knew someone once," Marcus said carefully, "who had a ring just like that." Silence settled between them, not awkward but heavy. Alina studied his face, searching, then something shifted. "Marcus?" she asked, voice uncertain. He nodded. "Hi, Lena." The moment wasn't dramatic, no music swelled, no tears fell, but something clicked into place, like a door finally opening. They talked briefly, carefully, like two people handling something fragile. Alina laughed quietly. "I can't believe it's you," she said. "I never forgot that day." "Me neither," Marcus admitted. They didn't talk long. Alina had meetings, Marcus had work. But as he walked away, his steps felt lighter. He hadn't chased the past, he'd acknowledged it. That was effort enough for now. A week later, Alina requested Marcus's presence, not as an employee but as a person. They met in the building's small cafe after hours. No titles, no audience. I've thought a lot since we spoke, Elena said, stirring her tea. Life took us far apart. Marcus nodded. It did. But promises, she continued, touching the ring, they shape us. They shared stories. Elena spoke of climbing ladders, of loneliness hidden behind success. Marcus spoke of Ava, of learning strength quietly. Elena listened, truly listened. At one point she said, "You kept your promise, you became someone dependable." Marcus smiled. "So did you, just not how you imagined as a kid." The turning point wasn't romance, it was respect. Elena saw Marcus not as a memory but as a man. Marcus saw Elena not as an unreachable figure but as a person still carrying old hopes. Before leaving, Elena said, "I'd like you to meet my foundation team. We work with families." Marcus hesitated. "I'm just maintenance." "You're more than that," she replied simply. That kindness wasn't charity, it was recognition. Months passed. Marcus didn't become rich or famous, but he became something new, confident in his worth. Elena's foundation partnered with community schools, including Ava's. Marcus volunteered. Elena visited often. Their conversations grew comfortable, honest. One evening, Ava tugged Marcus's hand during a school event. "Daddy," she whispered, "that lady smiles like you." Marcus looked at Elena across the room. She smiled back, warm and familiar. Their relationship unfolded slowly, grounded in friendship. No rush, no pressure, just two people choosing to show up. One evening, walking through the park, Elena said, "About that promise?" Marcus chuckled. "Kids say things." "Yes," she replied, "but adults choose." The ring remained on her finger not as destiny but as memory honored. Whatever came next would be built in the present. Life doesn't reward us for holding onto the past, but it does reward us for honoring who we've become. Marcus learned that promises made in innocence don't bind us, they remind us. They remind us of the values we carry forward: kindness, responsibility, courage. The moral of this story is simple and real. Your worth isn't measured by titles or distance traveled, but by how you show up every day. Sometimes the past returns not to change your life but to show you how far you've already come. And when you meet it with honesty and grace, it can become a bridge not back but forward.